I don't see how the Queen, who was described by Harry as vicious in his book, by Harry in the Apple interviews, can forgive him. I mean, he'd have to eat so much humble pie.
If you thought Prince Harry's royal exit was the end of the drama, think again. A fresh wave of controversy is brewing, and this time sparked by Tom Bower, the biographer who has made a career out of tearing down Britain's most carefully crafted images. Bower has allegedly gotten his hands on secret recordings that could do more damage to the Sussex. Do these tapes really exist? And if they do, how do they change the high-stakes game between the Sussexes and the monarchy? Join us as we explore how this changes everything.
The photographers and the journalists to tell them where she would be and when she could be spotted. So she encouraged the paparazzi.
The unseen player in the royal game. Tom Bower isn't your everyday royal commentator. This is a name that, in royal circles, triggers both fear and fury. He's an investigative journalist with a reputation for his unauthorized biographies, often of business tycoons and newspaper proprietors from Buckingham Palace to Downing Street. Over the years, he's exposed the inner workings of powerful families, unearthing secrets that many believed would never see daylight. His royal track record is particularly telling.
He is really quite deranged and causing enormous damage to the royal family.
He has authored explosive biographies on members of the royal family, often based on meticulous research and interviews with insiders, some willing, some less so. Bower has a reputation for digging where others won't, coaxing insiders to talk and piecing together unflattering truths from whispers and paper trails. Palace aides allegedly view him as a dangerous operator who, once he catches a scent, won't stop until he has the full story. Those who felt the sting of his pen have described him as relentless, unapologetic, and completely immune to royal charm offensives. And that's what makes things really interesting. And inside the palace walls, Bower is seen less as a journalist and more as a threat, someone who can't be controlled, can't be bought, and won't back down. Which is exactly why, if secret tapes were floating around, he'd be the one to get them. In the world of royal reporting, the more dangerous the secret, the more likely it is to find its way into his hands. Tom Bower doesn't just write, he's a disruptor. In the royal arena, his reputation is even sharper. His 2022 bestseller Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War. Between the Windsors painted Meghan as a master strategist and Harry as a man torn between love and duty, willing to burn bridges for the woman he married. Now that you know who's holding the cards, let's talk about what might actually be on them. Now, word on the street is that Bower's next play involves secret tapes, recordings allegedly capturing the Sussexes at their most unguarded. In the chessboard of royal politics, this is no pawn move. It's a potential checkmate. These tapes could reshape public perception, fracture what's left of royal relationships, and dominate headlines for months. And Bower knows the power of timing. The Sussexes have been keeping a low profile lately, shifting focus toward philanthropy, media projects, and brand building. Dropping a bombshell now forces them back into the defensive posture they've been trying to escape. And whether by coincidence or calculation, it keeps the royals, particularly the Sussexes, firmly in the global spotlight.
I mean, it shows bizarre behavior by the Sussexes. The Beckhams have to swallow it. It is all just pretty odd.
But here's the bigger mystery. Let's consider how he ended up with these alleged tapes. Were they handed to him by a disillusioned royal insider, obtained through a chain of media contacts? Or is Bower playing a longer game timing their release for maximum impact on Harry and Meghan's public image? One thing is certain. If Tom Bower is involved, the leak isn't random. It's strategic. And that means the damage may already be carefully calculated. Some say they might have been recorded entirely by accident. An open phone line, a mic left running at a private event, or a conversation overheard and captured by someone in the room. That kind of slip can happen faster than you think, especially in a world where every device is a potential recorder, while others whisper about something far more deliberate. An insider within the royal circle, someone with access and a score to settle, deciding it's time to let certain truths see daylight. In a family where loyalty is currency, such a move would be nothing short of treason. And then there's the most calculated theory of all, that this is part of a coordinated media play. A strategic leak was created to shift narratives, pressure certain players, or distract from another royal headache. In the monarchy's long history of behind-the-scenes leaks, they have often been as choreographed as any official statement. Whatever the truth, the fact that these tapes landed in Tom Bower's hands suggests one thing. Someone wanted this story told, and told loudly. And if these recordings are murky, the contents are even more explosive. Here's what some believe they might reveal. The alleged explosives. The recording itself is shrouded in mystery, reportedly running for several minutes and filled with the kind of hushed tones and sharp intakes of breath you only hear in private. It isn't a speech, and it certainly isn't a press statement. It's the kind of conversation you have when you think no one else is listening. If genuine, it's dynamite, not because of one quotable line, but because of the weight, the tone, the pauses, the words, between the words. In a monarchy built on image and silence, hearing raw emotion in real time is like pulling back the velvet curtain on a centuries-old performance, and what lies behind it could be far more damaging than the royal family ever anticipated.
That those executives in Hollywood are plotting to destroy the monarchy because they just see money in that.
And if that's the atmosphere surrounding this tape, imagine what could actually be on it. The exact contents remain a mystery, but leaks from sources familiar with the material paint a picture. The recordings reportedly capture moments where Harry questions the very future of the monarchy, statements far sharper and more direct than anything he's said in public. One alleged snippet has Meghan openly naming and criticizing senior royals, breaking the delicate balance they've tried to maintain since stepping back from official duties. Some believe the tapes may include audio from tense family gatherings in the months before the Sussexes' exit from the royal family in 2022, moments when emotions ran high and voices were raised. If true, the difference between reading about those tensions and hearing them unfold is massive. The tone, pauses, and even anger in a voice can certainly magnify the impact tenfold. While no one outside of Tom Bower's circle knows exactly what's on those tapes, the speculation is already running wild. Imagine Harry's voice, frustrated, raw, admitting that being the spare wasn't just a royal label but a lifelong sentence, shaping every decision he made. Picture Meghan, her tone sharp and icy, recalling a pointed slight from a senior royal at a family event, something the cameras would never have caught, but which stayed with her for months. Or perhaps the most explosive of all, the couple discussing in real time their decision to leave the UK.
All of the paparazzi pursuits of Harry and Meghan took place in either the US or Canada, none in the UK where they had protection.
Weighing the backlash they knew was coming, and the bridge burning they couldn't avoid. If any of these conversations exist on tape, it wouldn't just confirm what the couple has hinted at publicly. It would strip away the carefully crafted PR and leave nothing but unfiltered reality. And with public opinion, tone and emotion can speak louder than any written memoir. And if these alleged tapes ever see the light of day, the fallout won't just be behind palace walls, it'll be everywhere, all at once. On one side, Sussex supporters would mobilize instantly. Twitter threads, Instagram reels, TikTok explainers, every platform would be flooded with posts defending Harry and Meghan, insisting the tapes were taken out of context or calling the leak a smear campaign. Meanwhile, staunch royalists would see it as a proof of everything they've been saying for years. Calls to strip the couple of their Duke and Duchess titles could resurface, with pundits on morning talk shows framing it as a question of protecting the monarchy's dignity. And then there's the media class. Some commentators would gleefully dissect every syllable, while others would warn about the dangerous precedent of releasing private conversations. This debate would be of privacy versus public, and the public interest would become the next great cultural flashpoint, with Harry and Meghan's reputations caught right in the middle. But before we assume this is uncharted territory for the monarchy, let's rewind. Because this wouldn't be the first time a royal's private words were never meant for public ears, but they somehow made their way out, and the fallout, historically, has been nothing short of explosive. And if you think today's royal drama is bad, history says it could get a lot worse. In 1992, British tabloids sent shockwaves through the monarchy with the so-called Squidgygate scandal.
The way he kept on bringing in Diana. Diana, who appealed to the media all the time, who phoned journalists secretly.
It was the front-page revelation of the existence of a tape recording of Diana, Princess of Wales, talking to a close friend, who later turned out to be Gilby, heir to the eponymous gin fortune. In the intimate conversation, Gilby affectionately calls Diana Squidgy and darling, while she echoes a rare glimpse behind the velvet curtain of royal composure, expressing feelings of isolation and despair born from confinement and expectation. The shock wasn't just in what was said, it was in the raw humanity that seeped through in Diana's own voice when she assumed no one was listening. The publication of the tapes was a high point of the media attention which surrounded Diana's serial adultery, leading to the marriage, separation, and eventual divorce of the Prince and Princess of Wales. But that's not all. Then came 1993 notorious Camillagate, also dubbed Tampongate, a scandal that erupted when a 6-minute telephone conversation from December 1989 between Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles was leaked to the press. In the intimate, candid exchange, Charles jokingly suggests, "I'll just live inside your trousers, or God forbid a Tampax, just my luck," a moment that was both revealing and jarring. The tape, picked up by a ham radio enthusiast and eventually published by tabloids, confirmed long-standing rumors of their affair and caused a public uproar. The explicit nature of the conversation left the royal family visibly rattled and remains one of the most humiliating and enduring scandals in recent royal history. The tape immediately damaged Charles's public image, and the media vilified Parker Bowles for the breakdown of his marriage to Diana, Princess of Wales. The lesson from both scandals was clear. Hearing a royal voice, unfiltered and unscripted, has a far greater impact than reading a headline. It sticks in the public mind, reshapes reputations, and leaves wounds that PR teams can't easily heal. And with today's constant news cycle and social media, the impact of any new leak could be more devastating. But the biggest question remains, how did Bauer get them? Possibilities range from a disillusioned former friend to a palace insider with an agenda, to a leak from private archives. Each theory has its own implications, and none of them goes well for Harry. The original story matters, because if these tapes came from inside the Sussexes' own camp, it's not just a media scandal, it's a betrayal, public perception, legal battles, and royal strategy. And yet, the biggest question swirling around all of this isn't just what's on the tapes, it's why now? Because in royal scandals, timing is rarely an accident. Some observers believe Tom Bauer may be aiming to derail an upcoming Sussex project, whether that's a new Netflix installment, a high-profile charity initiative, or even a book. Dropping a bombshell right before a launch could overshadow their work and undercut public goodwill. Others suggest the leak could be strategically linked to tensions within the palace. While the royal family officially maintains a wall of silence, leaks have historically served as subtle warnings, reminders of who holds the real narrative power. If that's the case, this could be a shot across the bow. And then there's the wider UK media cycle to consider. Major royal stories often emerge just as another is starting to fade, or when something else needs to be buried. Could these alleged tapes be pulling attention away from a different royal headache? In the game of monarchy and media, distractions are sometimes the most valuable currency. If these tapes are real, the implications for Prince Harry could be explosive. Beyond the embarrassment of private thoughts going public, every word would be dissected by the press, the palace, and the public. If he's heard criticizing senior royals or revealing sensitive family moments, it could strain already fragile relationships and further alienate him from the institution. Legally, the recordings might open debates over privacy violations, but the court of public opinion often moves faster than the law. Sponsors, charitable partners, and even Netflix executives would be forced to weigh their association against the fallout. And perhaps most dangerously for Harry, the tapes could undermine the Sussex brand itself, built on carefully crafted narratives, by revealing moments that clash with their public image. In the age of viral sound bites, a single sentence from those tapes could become the defining headline of his year. And for Harry, The risk is credibility. His memoir Spare and the Netflix series were built on the promise of honesty. But if these recordings contradict or complicate those stories, critics will waste no time calling him out. And once that seed of doubt is planted, it's hard to erase. For Meghan, the danger is equally sharp. She's been carefully repositioning her public image toward philanthropy and lifestyle ventures, avoiding direct royal confrontation in recent months. A scandal showing her making unfiltered, critical remarks could drag her back into the royal rebel narrative that she's been trying to shed. The palace, on the other hand, has little incentive to shield the Sussexes. Some royal commentators even suggest insiders might welcome the distraction, allowing the institution to look composed and dignified while Harry and Meghan scramble to manage the fallout. It's the kind of quiet win the firm thrives on. Those close to the Sussex circle are whispering that Harry's reaction, if he's even aware of the full contents yet, would be one of fury and disbelief. He's no stranger to media intrusions, but this would feel different, more personal, more targeted. Friends imagine him pacing, phone in hand, firing off frantic calls to lawyers in California and confidants back in the UK. Meghan, ever the strategist, might urge a controlled, dignified silence until they know how much is out there, while Harry's instinct could be to confront the story head-on. And behind the scenes, the tension would be palpable. Sleepless nights, worried calls from allies, and the gnawing fear that this isn't just a one-off leak, but the opening move in a longer, nastier game. If history is any guide, Harry won't take this lying down, but the question is whether a swift rebuttal will put the fire out or pour petrol on it. Then there's Bower himself. If history is any guide, he rarely reveals everything he knows at once. By hinting at these tapes now, he keeps the Sussexes and the public on edge, wondering what's next. It's a masterclass in controlling the narrative without even releasing the evidence. And if these tapes are just the opening move, then the endgame could be far more explosive than anyone expects. If this really is just part one of Tom Bower's revelations, what else is buried in his files? Could there be more tapes? More raw, unfiltered moments waiting to drop at the most damaging time possible? If they are genuine, the recordings could mark a turning point in the ongoing battle between the Sussexes and the monarchy, a moment where private words become public weapons, and in a game where image is everything. That's the kind of hit you can't fully recover from. And what if it's not just audio? Imagine a leaked video, body language, facial expressions, the pauses between words, all adding layers of meaning that audio alone can't convey. In the digital age, one clip could ignite a storm far bigger than any book or interview. So where does this leave us? Right back in the middle of the royal storm. Legally, the recordings might open debates over privacy violations. Whether the tapes are real, exaggerated, or entirely strategic, they've already done their job shifting attention back to the Sussexes and raising questions about loyalty, privacy, and who's really pulling the strings. Then there's the nuclear scenario. The tapes spark a media frenzy so intense that Harry and Meghan are forced back into the UK spotlight under the worst possible circumstances. Not for a wedding, not for a jubilee, but for damage control. The question isn't just what's on those tapes, it's whether they could rewrite the next chapter of Sussex history entirely. The alleged tapes in Tom Bower's possession could be nothing more than background noise, or they could be the most explosive insight yet into Harry and Meghan's private world. Every leak in royal history has had ripple effects, some manageable, others catastrophic. The only certainty right now is that this is just the first drop. There's no telling how big the wave will be when the rest comes crashing down. The royals have survived scandal after scandal, but the 21st century moves faster, burns hotter, and never forgets. And as for Harry and Meghan, the question isn't just what's on those tapes, it's whether they'll be able to control the story before the story controls them. One thing's for sure, this isn't over. If these tapes are real, what else could be hiding in Bower's files? Do you think we are about to witness another royal scandal on the scale of Camillagate? Drop your opinions in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.